Hello and welcome to the Libri Labra book club. My name is Desirai. I'm here with my husband John, aka BookTube hubby, and also with book club VIP member Tom. And before we jump into things, just really quick, if you ever want to join us during the discussion on camera, you can do that by becoming a book club VIP member on Patreon, patreon.com/Libri Labra. And there's a few other perks for doing that. You get to be in a rotation where you help us select the books that we're reading each month. You get to be part of an exclusive Facebook chat where we talk about some of the media that we're consuming. And then there's a few other perks like priority commenting on YouTube. You get a bookmark. Stuff like that. So go check it out. If you're not ready to subscribe in that sense or become a patron, that's perfectly fine. You can still go to patreon.com/Libri Labra and just follow and just kind of follow along for a little bit until you're ready to do whatever. Today we are talking about The Picture of Dorian Gray by Oscar Wilde. And we're going to go over some initial thoughts first, and then we'll jump into more spoiler territory. And Tom, this was your pick, so tell us a little bit about.
Well, this is one of those novels where I knew the premise going in, so that wasn't like a surprise or anything. And I had never read Oscar Wilde before. I always, I've always heard the quote, the only thing worse than being talked about is not being talked about. And like in the opening pages, there it is. There's the quote. I can say I've actually read it now. So that's the reasons I wanted to read it. So
Okay.
Because I understand what it's about. So
I only knew that it was a classic, and that's about it. I don't think I was prepared for the thought experiment of it all, and I wish I had been.
Yeah, I knew nothing.
That's a subject for discussion.
Yeah. So,
John, sorry, no, I'm kidding.
It definitely. I'm torn because there's a part of me that doesn't want to read it again, but also a part of me that does want to read it again. So I don't know. I did.
Would it be fair to say characterized as like a car accident? You don't want to see it again, but you can't look away.
Maybe. I think I definitely want to watch the movie, though. There's a movie out.
There's a couple of them out.
Yeah, there's a couple of them, but the one that I wanted to see was the one with Ben Barnes.
Yeah, but I have critiques.
You have critiques? Is Ben Barnes not young enough looking for you?
Young enough?
Attractive enough?
They put him as a 19-year-old in the Shadow and Bones series. So.
Oh no.
So
no, but did you see the trailer for the?
No, for Dorian.
Yeah,
no.
Like he looks like a baby. He's got a baby face. Like he's got no facial hair. He's got like a complete baby face.
But he's not blonde, right?
No, you're correct. He's not blonde.
Yeah, because that's definitely how they described.
Yeah, blonde hair and blue eyes. Yeah.
Yes.
Young Dorian.
Okay. Initial thoughts?
I didn't know going into this either what I was gonna. I've always been curious of what the hoopla was about Dorian Gray. Anytime the name Dorian was mentioned, right, that's the Dorian that anybody was talking about. So I was like, what's so special about him? So this is it was a definitely very interesting book. I enjoyed it, but it scared me. But there's a lot of things in it that I was just like, holy crap.
Okay.
So, existentially, not horror-wise,
Although it's classified as a horror fantasy.
Is it?
Yeah. Or maybe the movie was. I don't know.
Well, the idea is that he's he slowly goes mad with what it does to him.
Are we in spoiler territory now?
Yes, let's jump into spoiler territory now. I thought this was going to be more about Dorian Gray than about Dorian Gray, if that makes any sense. Like, I thought it was just going to kind of like revolve around him as a topic of discussion and how he impacted other people versus like Dorian's experience of what was happening.
Right.
So that was a shift. Like, I thought he was more of like an outside character, just kind of impacting people with his beauty.
I mean, whatever. Yeah, so,
but he does. Yes, that's part of the normal.
But I didn't expect to see so much of his own experience, which obviously I don't know, man. I had issues with a lot of it. I was just.
Do tell. This is the way you should.
Okay, so I hated Lord
Henry Bottom, yes.
Henry, yes. Like, I could not stand him. I really just could not stand him. And not that he didn't occasionally say something that was thought-provoking or whatever, but I just hated the confidence with he was walking around with, just spewing all these things, just like constantly, all the time. Like, what was he really doing?
Being a cynic.
Yeah.
He hated anything and everyone, but he wanted life's experiences.
I mean, but what was his life really? Like,
talking shit about everything.
Clearly, I mean, like, I don't think he had the pleasurable life that he kept referencing and talking about. Like, his wife left him for somebody else, and then when he even tried to say that he missed her, he said it in such a way, it was just annoying. It's just, I don't know, I couldn't stand him.
Like I said, I mean, from he was perceived to be extremely shallow.
I hate everything he said about Basil. Like, dude, that was supposed to be your friend. Like, you're an asshole. And then like, all he from the first page, he just wanted to like corrupt Dorian Gray, which is essentially what he did.
Mm-hmm.
Just not a fan. Like, there were some things that he said that like really, really bothered me. Like, I think he was like, married people are unselfish and unselfish people are uninteresting. Which is like,
yeah.
And I didn't agree with a lot of what he was saying.
I don't know if it came from him or from other perspectives, but there's definitely a few things in that book that I was like, oof, that's an interesting way to get. Like I said, like all the characters were like, oh, that's an interesting theory, and they moved on, you know, or we'll have to talk about that later.
Yeah.
I mean, again, not to imply that he didn't have some like thought-provoking things that were like sprinkled in there, but the majority of the time I just want to be like, shut up, go away. Like, I wouldn't want somebody like that in my life.
Yeah, but also he's telling Dorian his version of the truth too. You know, because I think it's him that says, when your youth grows, your beauty will go with it. And then you will suddenly discover that there are no triumphs left for you, or have to content yourself with those mean triumphs that the memory of your past will make more bitter than defeats. And he's just being honest with him at that point. As far as he knows, according to his experience.
I mean, does telling a youthful person, like, you know, somebody that's got a lot less life experience than you might have, is telling him about that experience and what you've brought of that actually a good idea? Let them experience life for themselves, or you're actually just influencing them for some way to do things a different way?
I mean, I kind of feel like in general, not necessarily in this story, but in general, I feel like young people don't listen to older people when we're sharing our experiences. And like, you know, because we're usually like, let me tell you how to avoid this in the future.
With parents, that's absolutely true. But
I think young people have a tendency of being like, I'm different, I'm not going to end up like that.
Right.
And, you know, they just don't want to process that there's some things are a rite of passage. Some things are like very, very common that happen all the time. Like, they just feel like they're unique snowflakes that are not going to encounter those situations.
Mm-hmm.
Crap, there was something else that I was going to say, but I lost it saying that. That like in the sense of his beauty, right? Is beauty beautiful? Sure. Can I appreciate it? Yes. But the weight that it had in the book felt not unrealistic in life, but unrealistic in my life, if that makes sense.
It does make sense, yeah, because you don't you we've already established that you don't see the
is that why we had that conversation recently? Because like I feel like now looking back, you were asking me very poignant questions, but you never connected it to the fact that you were reading Dorian Gray, but like you had asked me things. I don't know. I just know we had a conversation about people being attractive and how I felt about that. But like
That was
I
according
wasn't
to us, but it wasn't
but
about
like okay,
Dorian.
all right. Well, you were also going through Dorian Gray, and I had
Yeah.
not read it yet, so
Right.
I'm sure you were
There was a small
asking me.
influence there.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But what I had said was that again, you know, beauty is beautiful. I can admire it, I could appreciate it, but I'm not
Attracted to it.
doesn't
It
mean
does,
I'm,
but like, hey, I want that.
I didn't say not attracted to it. I said not sexually attracted to it, which I think there's a difference.
It's not
there.
about sexually attracted.
Because
You
like
could think a lamp is pretty, and whether or not you want it.
right, but if I want it, does that make me sexually attracted to it?
No, that's not what I'm saying.
What
I didn't
I'm
say
saying,
sexually at all.
Okay, I'm saying that. I feel like there's 3 types of attraction. I think there's physical attraction, emotional attraction, and sexual attraction. And like they're like separate boxes.
You say physical and sexual aren't. There's not a scale. You can't slide into one.
Well, like sliding into DMs. Yeah.
Sexual attraction is physical, so.
Okay, but I very much believe like I can be physically attracted to someone and not be sexually attracted to them. So like maybe for me it's not a scale.
I want to be around that guy, but not in that way.
I guess. I don't know, but like physical attraction is more like a thing with my eyes, like wanting to admire it, liking to look at it. Like it's not, I have to touch it.
Okay.
So, which I think is interesting just because of like how Basil had been describing what he felt about Dorian Gray. It was like, where's this going? What's happening here? Like, how is he really feeling about it? Is it just, you know, he's
from an artist's perspective, right? He's like, this is the perfect subject.
I mean, but it did sound like there was an infatuation and an obsessiveness there, and obviously Dorian was like a muse for him. But I guess I was wondering if there was a lot more to it. Do you think that Basil was only concerned with losing his muse when he was like telling Lord Henry, "I trust you. Don't mess this up for me"?
Oh no, he knew what Henry was gonna do, and he even like, I don't want you to meet him. You're gonna ruin him, and that's exactly what happened.
That is exactly what happened. So do you think Basil thought that Dorian was innocent? Oops.
We just lost Tom.
Oh no. It was Tom and not us, right? Let me make sure that Okay, not sure how this is gonna work out if there's just a big gap, but we shall see.
Oh, it says we're live again.
Okay, so Tom says he's rebooting again. So, okay, did you, I guess, did you think there was more? Did you think there was more in regards to what Lord Henry and Basil were seeing in Dorian Gray?
More where? Like outside of just his beauty?
Yeah,
His
like
naivety?
I think I'm still surprised that two men would be commenting on some other man's beauty
This was
to that degree, where it was such a large conversation point.
I mean, even amongst men, they still talk about how like not liking how pretty other men are.
Really,
Like knowing they're attractive and girls just flock to them. That's just that's like a man's like, oh.
Okay, Tom says, I think in Dorian Gray, the point is people have easier lives because of their physical appearance, and people are more willing to help them. That is 100% true, and I definitely agree with that. It's kind of...
Am I pretty? I just don't know it.
Are you pretty and you
That's
don't know
like,
it?
What? Oh, because
like... You don't think you're pretty?
No.
Oh.
I don't think I'm a handsome dude.
Not even a little bit?
Maybe a little bit, but a little bit.
Okay. What was I going to say before that? Oh, that like it's the studies that have been done on how much more people who are attractive get jobs, get paid.
They're trusted more, right?
Yeah,
that
they're
ridiculous.
Believed. It is that is.
Yeah. So, and that's actually kind of what another aspect of what's going on here is that he was trusted a lot more. Everybody wanted to become friends with him, but he led them into things that they didn't like. They were like, oh, or. So what I think Dorian was doing was literally helping other people find their kinks, or you know, they get embarrassed about what they've done with him, and it's not what he's done. It's basically what society's all like. Oh, now everybody gets shunned because of the bullshit they've been doing.
I think one of the things that I disagree with Lord Henry on the most is that he had like this idea that like all of life's pleasures were in the sin, were in the corruption, were in like all the bad. I don't agree with that at all.
No.
Okay, Tom says, and for Lord Wadham, he seems like he was trying to get Gray to do things to see if he would, whereas Hallwell, the painter, was genuinely concerned for Gray's welfare, which ultimately led to Hallwell's death. Yes. I think, like, I feel like, and that's why I hate what happened to Basil on so many levels, not just because of what Dorian did, but also how Lord Henry talked about him.
No, that's exactly what
I feel like of all the people in this book,
to the madness.
Of all the people in this book, I feel like I liked Basil the most.
Right.
He seemed the most human to me. Or you know, like I don't feel like as people we need to be classified as good and bad, because I think we have both in all of us.
I think that was actually said in here too.
Yeah, so but I think in general, I think he was a better person, I guess. Because
Basil?
Yeah. Because he did.
He knew to say
No, he had.
I don't want you to meet him. You will ruin him.
Yeah. Well,
boom.
But then like when the whole thing was happening where he was like, I guess he had just found out that Sybil had died. And so he came to kind of like be there for
Console him,
Dorian.
yeah,
And he was at the opera. He was like, "You were at the opera?" Like,
right. That was kind of our first hint at something was wrong with Dorian.
Like, I don't know. I really wanted to punch Lord Henry so much. Like the fact that everything, I feel like he broke everything. And Dorian going off on Sybil for her bad acting was upsetting too.
Yep.
I mean,
again, they're both naive children, and he didn't know what he was doing until after the fact, and she didn't know what she expressed everything to him about why everything just changed, and he was like,
I thought how
No.
she expressed everything was wonderful.
right, that's what I'm saying, but he stomped on everything. He was just like, no, I wanted you as an actress, not a whatever this was. She's like, you showed me love. He goes, you took mine away. And I'm like, what the hell?
Yeah, but the best part about that was when Howell was talking to Gray just after, because she had killed herself at that point. It's like, and he's talking like Gray's talking like, oh, it's like such a thing. Dude, this is yesterday. This happened.
Right.
Literally, he says that. It's like,
yeah, but then like his explanation, because at some point like Dorian was feeling bad, but then he was like, no, don't feel bad. She was an actress and she was never really herself. And by the time she was herself, so she's not really dead. Is like, I don't know.
The rationalization is going on.
It's like, I was like, dude, I can't. And then I was just saying that I liked Basil the most out of everybody in this book, and
he's the most redeemable one.
Yeah. And the fact that like he went to like console Dorian, and Dorian was like at the opera, not caring, being like, oh, that's the past.
Do you think Howell had a crush on Gray?
It kind of seemed like that. And I think maybe that was a little bit of what he was afraid of. Because he wasn't sure how to
express it.
Yeah.
He put it in the painting.
And then he felt really vulnerable about it.
And in turn, that vulnerability went to Dorian. Dorian ended up having to deal with, dude, the fact that he even expresses at the very beginning when he's talking to Lord Henry, he was like, if I was to ever look at myself and see myself old and gray, I shall kill myself. So after he tore the painting, did he kill himself?
I assumed...
Or did he kill himself?
What?
Yes.
I assumed...
How about that for an answer?
I mean, there was clearly magic in the painting, right? Because it was like changing and aging as he was not. So I assumed that he destroyed the painting, essentially destroying himself.
Yeah.
Or you could count it as, consider the painting like a tank holding all of his evil in it and his aging and such. He punches that, and then it transfers back to him.
That's what I thought.
Yeah.
So, and then he was like, "Oh, now I'm ruined."
Yeah, but
that's
no. He goes to gash the painting, and then when he does, the knife appears in his heart.
Oh, okay. Because like everything transfers.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
It was instantaneous. Yeah.
Right.
Because I'm pretty sure they even said that if it had not been for the rings on his fingers, they wouldn't have been able to identify him because his body had aged.
It was so decrepit.
Right.
So that was my.
So he should have died a long time ago.
Well, considering
everybody knew him to be as a 19-year-old kid that didn't age,
right?
And then as soon as he aged, nobody could
recognize. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but also it was not only age. He put his body through hell. because of all his experimentation with drugs and everything else. Apparently the painting held that too, and that's why it looks so awful. Apart from his crimes and such against other people.
Right.
The
weather,
doing
the wrinkles,
stuff like that,
the
because
the frown in the face, everything changed.
Smoking, drinking,
exactly. Yeah, that's what I was getting at.
Further age your body. Yeah.
So. Yeah, but it was interesting to see, how it, again, him. Oh, I looked up I was looking for a particular use of the word good, and it's so interesting how in the first part of the novel, it's always about how good looking he is, and then so about the middle, and then toward the end, it's like being good,
right?
Is the context,
Well, going back to what I was saying about
which I thought missed, but
no. Just I'm linking it to what you're saying. Is that in regards to my attraction to good-looking people? Like, if a person is really good-looking, but they're not a good person, then that kind of means nothing to me.
I get it.
Okay.
Yeah, but that seems to be a deeper example. And it's like in my head. It's kind of like saying, "Oh, you're like the bouncer at a club, and this attractive woman wants to go in." Well, chances are you have a better shot being attractive than not getting in. So it's not even like sexual or anything. It's just how you move through the world.
No, I totally get that. Yeah, we had kind of discussed how attractive people get paid more, and they're believed more of the time, and they're just more trusted just for being attractive, not having to do anything with their character at all. Which I don't know what to say about that, but I guess it must make sense in some kind of nature aspect, because all the males are super beautiful, aren't they?
Yeah. How do we actually start? How long until we're actually at a point where, as a society, as humans, entertainment and everything is literally just men trying to prove themselves to women at this point?
What?
Dancing.
Who says it never? Wait, dude, it's always been that way, hasn't it?
It seems like we've tried to reverse it somehow, and it's not working.
Yeah. I also had a hard time with this, with just all of the descriptions of women are this and women are that and women and
the one single line is, "Oh, women are just a decorative species or sex," and I was like, what?
Yes,
so that's what they believe.
Yeah.
Right.
That men did all the work, did everything, that women were just.
And I'm just sharing
trophies.
that was not a fun experience to read it. It was just, I don't know.
Did you feel that the novel telegraphed some of what was going to happen? Because when he says, when Dorian goes, "Oh yeah, I'll just patch it up tomorrow," and she's dead. She has to be dead. Now I was convinced, and sure enough,
I didn't necessarily get it from him saying that, but I was pretty sure she was going to end up killing herself, I think, because he was a jerk. He was she was so ready to leave everything behind for her Prince Charming, and she was so in it, and then he came.
But she's not really that innocent either, because she acknowledged he's young, he's handsome, and he's rich.
Well, I think it pays more to the idea that she just falling in love with him completely ruined her acting career. She was ruined after that. She didn't feel like acting was the same, because she actually knew what real love was.
For that one performance,
for him to turn her down because of that.
Right, exactly. That's they're so extreme. It's my God.
Yeah, so that was soul crushing, quite literally.
Mm-hmm.
It was soul crushing, especially because when she was communicating to him how she felt, it seemed more like a momentary experience for her.
Yeah.
Not something that she had to continue doing, just
Right.
something that in that moment it helped her realize how shallow acting was, and how it wasn't, like she's on stage pretending to feel a certain way, but that's different than like actually feeling it.
And I think the point is made. I forget who says it. It could have been Lord Henry or Basil. It's like, look, if you guys are really that close, she's not going to be on the stage anyway. So what the hell does it matter? Because she would be his wife, and then she wouldn't be acting anymore.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, but he, I think, was more upset about how embarrassed he was that he had been saying all these wonderful things about her, and he was telling his friends, you have to come see, and then
when
they were laughing and mocking and ridiculing her.
Right.
So like I think there was a lot of, I guess, embarrassment and shame in there for him.
Yeah, but it's the kind of thing where they were kind of assholes at that point too, in the sense that she's entitled to have an off night regardless of what the reason is.
Right, that's true.
And she even says, yeah, come another night, and she actually offers to change the way she acts in light of this new information that she, or in light of these new feelings that she has. She offers to do it, but he said, no, I'm done. It's like, dude.
I mean, that just tells me he wasn't really in love with her.
Yeah.
Like, that's not how that works.
He was in love with an idea of
her. Right. And once the idea was gone, then
right.
That's it. Yeah.
And the other one, which I thought was telegraphed, was when when they were out shooting, and
that someone was
somebody. Oh yeah, that's got to be your brother. Sure enough.
I think I kind of knew what was going to happen at the end when he was just like, he hadn't said he was going to destroy the painting yet, but he was already kind of going down that hole. And I was like, that's not going to end well. So.
Yeah, he equated it with how he disposed of Howell. Just destroy it and then it'll be gone and I can live my life. Aha, guess what? But
what was the thing? I feel like I missed the whole Hetty stuff.
I don't know what you mean.
Who?
Oh, the farm girl. Yeah.
What was happening with Hetty?
I don't remember.
Oh.
He was clearly seduced. To my book, he was clearly seducing her.
But for what reason?
Just to have her, I thought.
Did he succeed?
No, that was when he said, "Oh no, I'm going to stop. I'm not going to see her anymore because then I'll be good."
Oh, right.
And that'll take back everything I've done. It's like, no, it doesn't work like that. That one good deed that you did that one day, it doesn't take away from a lifetime of being evil.
Debauchery.
Yeah, exactly. Because by then, he was being ostracized from the clubs that he would frequent, and he had a name for himself and not a good one.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody wanted to associate with him anymore.
Yeah. Except for his fellow debauchees, yes. And even that, as we saw.
I don't know. I mean, like, obviously he makes his own decisions and he can do whatever he wants. But I'm surprised there wasn't more animosity towards Lord Henry.
From Dorian?
Yeah.
He looked up to him.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, here's this dude that came in and basically like just messed up his whole life by introducing.
He took it. He took Henry's word as gospel.
Yeah, and he liked where that was going, and in fact he got it's like a pyramid scheme. He got other people in on it.
But that was essentially why he ended up not liking or dealing or ended up hating Basil. Because Basil was the one that actually showed he was trying to dude, what's happening? What's going on? What is this?
Right.
Yeah, but what Basil was doing was trying to get Dorian to recognize, because there should be. I know there aren't always, because I know there are murderers, there are people committing crimes, there are people doing heinous things, but for the most part, there should be some kind of remorse, some kind of feeling, some kind of something happening in there when you mess up and you do the wrong thing, and
not if you think something else is taking half the blame.
Right.
My point is that Basil was trying to get him to acknowledge
Right.
and recognize those
Mhm.
things, and he didn't want to
Nope.
because it's uncomfortable.
Mhm.
It's uncomfortable to be like, I messed up. I did this bad thing.
Yes.
It's uncomfortable to feel the embarrassment or the shame or the regret or whatever. But like, it's necessary. I feel like if you want to be, and again, I don't want to use the word good, but if you want to be like a decent human being, like,
Mhm. Well, also too, when Howell actually sees the painting, Dorian sees the disgust that, and then he knows it's directed at him, Dorian. It's like, well, no, you can't feel that. How dare you? And he get angry, and we know what happens after that.
Yeah, that's exactly what made him hate him.
Yep.
He's like, he saw the look on his face when he saw the painting.
Yeah.
He's like, "You disgusted with me?"
And even then, Howell's like willing to work with him, just like Sybil was. Nope. We're going to do it our own way. So.
Does that mean he had a lack of empathy?
I would say, yeah. I mean, I don't know which term applies, sociopath or psychopath. I'm not sure.
right. Yeah.
But now, especially Lord Henry, especially, and maybe that's the point. The point is that rich people do not care about anything but themselves.
That's what I got from half of this. Is like because of just the way that rich people society hold themselves, and the whole idea of academia and how it looks to the outside world, what we do
Right.
what we do behind doors versus, they said something about their marriage. I think Henry didn't care about his marriage.
Yeah, he cared more about having a wife, I think, than
Right.
respectability that would bring.
The sign, the symbol, the
Yeah.
trophy, the stupid.
But it wasn't him; it was that whole social set.
Right. That's what I mean.
Part of, yeah. I mean, he may have been like the tip of the spear, Lord Henry, but he certainly wasn't the only one.
I just feel like Lord Henry came off as really empty to me, and that's why he was going around just like spewing all these things to people to try to make himself seem like something he wasn't, or like exceptionally knowledgeable, or like I don't think he was an interesting person.
It's just that he was a know-it-all prick.
But I don't even think he was a know-it-all. I think he thought he was a know-it-all.
That's funny.
Why is that funny?
Because it's just because those exist.
Like I think the thrill of anything for him was seeing how what he was saying was like influencing other people. Maybe he was living vicariously through every person that he was getting to do some messed up thing.
Right. I mean, the other thing to consider too is, when normal people, when they do things and they have their conscience, which in this case was the painting, at least when, for normal human beings, you have the opportunity to hide it in a different way than Dorian had to hide the painting.
Mm-hmm.
You can conceal that within yourself. But still, I mean, you're afraid of it coming out, but it's different, I think.
Huh. And then for him to show Basil, one of his closest friend, the painting,
Right.
and to have him have that kind of reaction, I could see that being like a
in the context of Dorian saying, "This is all your fault, Basil. You made me what I am." In the sense
right.
of, you were the one who told me I was beautiful, and I said
Ooh.
maybe, but that only goes so far.
But like what I don't understand is that Basil had painted him several times. There was lots of mentions of Dorian coming down and sitting for him.
Oh, I thought it was the opposite. I thought that it's like, oh my God, finally. And that's
So
Lord Henry got him to actually sit for him.
right, and so is the fact that Lord Henry actually gave him whatever expression that it was that he caught so perfectly that he thought it was the best painting of Dorian that he could get because of that expression that was on his face, and that expression was because of Harry or Henry, whatever his name is.
Yeah, and they say, art is a mirror of ourselves, and in this case, is literally true. The Dorian, because that is his inner life, I guess, on canvas. So, but I mean, it was very well written, of course, but some of the times it was like, oh my God, there's so many of these like witty sayings and such. Okay, stop already. We just want some
Yeah.
prose.
Yeah. I mean, and there was like, I think Lord Henry tended to speak very paradoxically, which is when I used to roll my eyes and get the most annoyed because I'd be like, okay, enough. But, and then he'd also try to say that he wasn't like, I don't know what words he used, but it seemed like he was trying to say that he wasn't judgmental of others, but he seemed very judgmental of others. If he's like, these people are not interesting, and these people are these people, and they're not interesting, and like,
right.
So,
yeah. So I think the quote was, excuse me, the only interesting people are the ones who know everything and the ones who know nothing. So, but toward the end of the book, I think it was one of the best quotes, where he talks, the books that the world calls immoral are books that show the world its own shame, and that's exactly what happened with
Still happening.
Yes, then we'll leave it at that. So
it's quite a lot to speak on the fact that we're reading books from the 1800s, yet we still have civil issues that we're dealing with.
Oh yeah, people haven't really changed much. Their toys have, but we actually have not.
That whole section about American women was interesting.
Yeah, I actually go from that too. Where is it here? Dang it! I clipped so many that it's hard to, and because like, at one point there was like boom, boom, boom. It's like, damn it.
Does that mean we need to get you a dress from France?
Why do I need a dress from France?
They said something about American women getting their dresses from France.
Oh, here it is. Is she pretty? She behaves as if she was beautiful. Most American women do. It is the secret of their charm. So.
I don't know who it was later on, but they were complaining about how there weren't going to be any more men left for the English if all the Americans keep snatching them up.
Yeah.
Like, okay.
Are we on Endgame now?
Trying to think if there's anything else. Who was, because I think I may have interpreted something. There was somebody that later on, after Sybil supposedly died, was referring to him as Prince Charming. Who was that?
That's Sybil.
Okay, so then Sybil was not dead?
No, Sybil was dead.
Oh no, it was among the whores that were at that one bar. Remember?
Okay.
I guess they travel in that social circle. And remember, Sybil would say, "Oh," and Dorian says, "Oh, she never called me by name. She always called me Prince Charming." Yeah. Mm-hmm. So within her circles, yeah, because her brother frequented them. That's the connection.
Okay. Because it seemed like it was an older lady that was referring to him as Prince Charming. Yeah. She was like, "I'm afraid of him. Don't let him know."
Yeah, because she saw him around the area a lot.
Oh, and the fact that he hadn't aged. Yeah.
Right.
And that's how he got out. From the brother. It's like, oh, well, what, could I possibly be him looking this young? And he goes, no, and lets him go. And then the woman you're talking about says, "You dummy, that was him."
Right. There was the barmaid, or
Yeah, it was the barmaid, or no, I thought it was one of the customers.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So. And plus, the inference was that it was Dorian that led that young man at the crack den or the opium den down that path as well. So I could see why he was ostracized from, proper society, I guess.
Do you have anything else to add?
I don't think so.
Do you want to watch the movie? Do you want to watch the Ben Barnes version?
I'll watch a movie.
I wonder how true to the text.
What's the other one though? How old is it?
Oh, probably like the 60s.
It's black and white.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, I'm very curious then. That one might be, that would be a classic.
Yeah, it's old.
We'll watch them both.
It's good though.
What did you say? We'll watch
want to watch them both?
I don't know. Maybe.
Not
So,
really.
yeah, we're not that interested.
Are you interested in rereading the book, or do you feel like
I probably would in the future. Like I'd probably touch it. Because there's a lot of stuff in that I thought was thought provoking, but I don't know. I feel like I missed a few things because I blocked Harry out half the time.
Okay, how did you feel about Harry?
Again, some of the things he said, I was like, oh, well, that's interesting. And other things are like, wow, that's bleak, dude. But, I think he's got a pretty accurate perspective on humanity.
But do you feel like you identified more with Lord Harry or Basil or Dorian?
I don't know. Probably Basil or Dorian. Dorian because of his naivety. But
so like as you were reading what Lord Henry was saying, were you, because I was annoyed most of the time.
I know.
But were you like hearing the things that he was saying and kind of getting scared because it made sense to you?
Yes.
Or like, okay.
Some of it.
Okay. So then you felt like, go ahead.
All I could think of was the meme, that's going around. What are you booing me for? I'm right.
Right. Yeah. Right. Oh, what comedian is that? That guy's funny.
Yeah, I don't know what that is or who that is.
Yeah, I don't know. He made a truth statement, and then he goes, "Why are you booing me? I'm correct." Everybody's like,
Yeah,
boo.
exactly. Yeah. But I think that's Lord Henry in a nutshell. But granted, as bad as Dorian was, I think is like they made to me like Lord Henry was like 10 times worse because he didn't seem like he believed in anything.
But see, that's what I think about Harry. Some of his views were pretty like, I don't know, dude, who hurt you?
Mm-hmm.
Like, what kind of stuff did Harry go through in order to end up with his perspective on life? Mm-hmm. If I feel like we got a Harry that dealt with Dorian already, and then he watched all that happen, and then still had that outlook on life, and then gave it to another Dorian. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but in a sense, neither of them have anything to think about because they're rich and they don't have any concerns really.
But I wonder if that played a big role in it too. Is it that you don't worry about other things that he can have that outlook on life because too much money.
Right. It's like my biggest choice is where to go to dinner, and you go on any given day. So even though they have everything, they know the value of nothing.
It's a good way to look at it. So,
final thoughts?
My final thoughts? Oh, you were asking me if I'd read it again. Yeah, not right away, but yeah. I'd say 4 stars for me.
You know what is interesting is that you and I listen to different audiobook narrators.
I was wondering because you had little chimes and stuff
And,
between
like,
the
music-
chapters. There was like, oh, when
music.
Dorian sat down when he sat down to play the piano, that started playing. I was like, what the heck is this?
Yours didn't have any music in it.
No.
Mine neither. Thank God.
That's funny.
Like at the beginning or end of any of the chapters, it's like boom, 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 boom. I'm like, no, don't do that.
Yeah, there was like
Yeah, exactly.
Don't do
Yeah,
that. Don't do
there,
that.
there was mood music in there. It was like sometimes it sounded villainous.
Oh, that's cool then.
So I'm gonna, I guess, see what your narrator sounded like.
Yeah, you should. Because I didn't, when you were listening to it in the car, I didn't realize it was a different narrator, but I definitely noticed that the music, I was like, well, there was no music in between. What is this?
It's funny.
I read the Amazon Classics version and had the narrator of the matching audiobook cover, whoever that was.
Hold on, let me see. You read it on Audible, right?
I did, yes.
Yeah.
Did you not?
No. I read it on script, Everend. I made it so that we each had an audiobook copy so that way we didn't have to share it.
That works.
Oh my God, I can only imagine because you have 2 different places that,
Yeah. So
it's almost like you should have it's almost like you should have profiles like Netflix does, and it's like, what are you listening to?
that would be.
That's opening a big can of worms for
I know.
Audible, man.
As I was talking about it, I was like, yeah, I know they're not going to do it.
Yeah, Audible's like,
For obvious reasons.
We thought about that already. No.
No.
Okay, so then you said you listened to the classic version?
Not
No, Tom.
Yeah, the Amazon Classics one. Now I got to find it. All right. Audible. Don't make me sign in. The picture.
So this one. It's hard.
Is that the one you're talking about? Oh, he's.
Hold on.
Oh,
I think you listened to this one, right? Yeah. 'cause
Michael
that's in our
Page
library.
is mine right now.
Okay, John's narrator was Russell Tovey. And let's see.
I'm getting hungry.
Oh, this one's narrated by Ben Barnes.
The one you listen to?
No, that's not the one I listened
Oh.
to, but it's the Picture of Dorian Gray Penguin Classics.
Oh,
I wish I had known that. Hold on, let me see who.
Sorry, Ben. We'll watch your movie.
yeah.
Okay, so this is the one I listened to. Read by Greg Wise. So the 3 of us each had a different narrator. So
Cool.
might have had wildly different listening experiences.
It's true.
There's a lot of versions of this book. I listened to a bunch of them. Some of them sounded like broken records. Like
your narrator could have made Harry worse.
I don't know if it was just how it was being said. It was the things that were being said. But
Right.
Yeah. So anyway, what's your rating?
I said 4 stars.
Oh, you said 4 stars. Okay, 4 stars, and you would reread.
Would recommend. Would read again.
And you did not find it challenging as a classic.
No, the first one that really I was like, hey, this is kind of nice.
Okay, I think I would also give it 4 stars.
Tripped in a couple places because of Harry, but
May reread. I can definitely see how a book like this would be good to like read in school, where you have an instructor kind of like breaking down and dissecting certain parts of it,
making you think about it.
Yeah. I am sad that I won't get that experience, but
You had this.
Whatever this is, you had it. Yeah.
But maybe if I didn't reread the whole thing, maybe I would just read the Cliff Notes version.
Okay.
And then, because usually Cliff Notes, I think, has a little bit more kind of that breaking down.
They have detail on some detail, but you miss a lot of details.
But I definitely do want to watch the movie. So anyway, 4 stars. Might reread. Definitely want to watch the movie, but the Ben Barnes one. That's where I'm at.
Excellent. I think this is the first time in a while we've all agreed on a rating, so I'll give it 4 stars as well. Yeah, I liked it. There are some parts like that one chapter where he goes into all of Dorian's, like, that year he spent hedonizing himself, for lack of a better word. It's like, dude, this could have been like 2 or 3 paragraphs. You need like 6 or 7 pages or whatever it was. And some of the stuff was kind of esoteric, but on the whole, it's, like John says, an easily graspable story as to what's going on.
Was there a disconnect because we didn't get all of his debauchery explained to us, or did we get a good idea of what he did?
Well, it was more like the one I'm talking about is where there's like all the artwork and such that, like, and then he tried paintings, and then he tried, I forget what the other things were, but it was like a whole long chapter. I think we get it. He's into the physical world. You don't need to, explain each and every item that he picked up along his travels.
Right. Okay.
So.
All right. So 4 stars all around. Are you going to watch the movie, Tom? Are you going to reread it?
Maybe. I mean, there's so much other stuff. Only because nothing against this book, but like there's so many other books.
Yeah, right. Mm-hmm.
I would say I would like to, but probably not. Other stuff to read.
We do have a lot of stuff to read.
Speaking of other books, next month for April, we are reading The Violin Conspiracy by Brendan Slocum. And let me see. This says, it's a riveting page-turner about a Black classical musician's desperate quest to recover his lost violin on the eve of the most prestigious musical competition in the world. So I have heard lots of good things about it, and I'm excited to read it and, of course, to discuss it with both of you. So.
And there are, plenty, well, not plenty, but it happens somewhat regularly that, that actually happens. So, I left my cello or whatever is in the back of the cabin. Bye. On a neighbor performance.
That sucks.
Yes.
That sucks. But I guess once we narrow down a date, I'll post it somewhere. And if you guys are still here, then hopefully you did read A Picture of Dorian Gray, and you will join us next month for The Violin Conspiracy. One more time, if you want to be on screen having the discussion with us, you can do that by becoming a book club VIP member on patreon.com/Libri Labra. Outside of that, thanks for joining us, and have a wonderful weekend.
Bye, guys.
So, bye.